Hi, this is John Dady. I have a podcast called Patriots Unite with your host, John Dady. I'm talking about the Trump indictment, which we all know is made up BS. The United States has become what we've always stood against. When we'd see this type of behavior happen in other countries, we would do this thing called regime change because it wasn't right what was being done. Is there anybody going to come to our rescue to do a regime change and get rid of the Biden administration? No. It's up to us people here to do this regime change. It's up to us to keep us from going further down the abyss into communism. You're not going to talk the Democrat Party out of stopping their agenda, which is our complete, total destruction, the end of our God given freedoms. They're never going to stop unless you stop them. You don't have to get violent about it, but be smart about it. Y'all aren't even trying that. You sit back. I've been observing this for decades. The right sits back and just says, well, we got to get along with the Democrats. No, you don't. They're never right about anything. And every time that you try to get along with the Democrats, because that's what they are, demons, you hurt us. You sacrifice and you sell out your values that you claim to have in order to get along with those who have no values. The left has no values. They have a bloodlust for killing children, born and unborn. You know, in 2 states now, they can let a parent can let a baby die, a woman can. She has up to 28 days to change her mind, and if she doesn't, the baby, will die, and she doesn't get charged with a murder. That's disgusting. That can only be described as demonic. The left's narrative of talking about being able to change your sex to a 5-year-old or anybody under the age 18. We call them impressionable young minds for a reason. And those parents that go along with this and think that's fine, y'all need some mental health counseling as well. Just because you're a parent doesn't mean you know what the hell you're doing. Because you don't. That baby doesn't come with an instruction manual. And so many parents of this era, they had no responsibility or accountabilities in their life because they weren't raised to have any. So it's not just this generation, it's a generational change has been occurring in our society because the right never held the left accountable. They just went along with them, thinking that, the people are never going to fall for that. Really? Our people have been dumbed down and indoctrinated to be beautiful little demon socialists for, about the last 35, 40 years. Now they're in power. They're in our business communities, they're in our congresses, they're in our state legislature. These people who were taught to be socialists, taught to never listen to the other side, because the other side, they've always been taught that we are the enemy. We are to be destroyed. That's how they've been raised. Our side has never got that memo, has never figured it out. Maybe some of you are starting to figure it out, but see, you're really late to the destruction of our country. You'd have no idea what to do. Because if you did know that this was happening, I would have thought you wouldn't allow it to begin with. Anyway, we have crossed into that banana republic territory. The United States has lost all of its moral authority as of day before yesterday, officially, when they trumped up charges against Trump, completely weaponizing the judicial system even worse than they had done so before. Our entire legal system, law enforcement apparatus is working for the demons of the Democrat Party. They are working against us. They are trying, and they will succeed unless we stop them, and taking away our God-given rights, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. You're letting them do that. We can cut them off tomorrow, but you all won't. Because instead of uniting as a party, uniting as the thought leaders, um, combining your forces, your listeners, your readers, and say, here's what we're going to do. We're going to combine millions and millions of us, and we're going to take our billions of dollars that we control between all of us, and we are going to stop funding anything to do with the media. Your cable, your satellite, internet, phone, any company that has anything to do with promoting leftist agenda, we shut them down by withholding billions of dollars a month from them. And we can do that if we get 25, 30 million people just doing that. How hard is it to do, guys? I'm not asking you to take time off work and go and complain, even though that wouldn't be a bad idea. But, our side always says, oh, well, we're too busy. You're too busy. Should we lose this country, you're going to be busier than you ever thought you were going to be. It's called trying to survive. You're going to be really busy. So put in an effort now or a whole lot more later, and who knows, you may not even be around. When communism takes over, there's a hell of a lot of people that get exterminated. Oh, you don't know that because you've never studied history. Got it. Crack a book. Read about Stalin and Lenin. Start there. Read about Mao. And just learn, for the love of God. It's not a dirty word. You all act like it is. And those of you with degrees have made it perfectly clear to me that they know everything. Okay, I can't help you on that. But we must stand, unite, stop funding those who seek our destruction, which is anything to do in the mainstream media. We need to, we all have to seem like we have to deal with Facebook. We could shut down Facebook and cause them to have a come to Jesus meeting if every one of us bailed on Facebook. Go over to Truth Social. Go over to Getter. Go to Rumble. There's plenty of places for us to gather and reassemble other than on the socialist communist site that we all seem to have to be on. We act like we have no other choice. No, folks, we do have a choice. And we need to give Facebook and others a choice themselves. We are going to pull off, as we should pull out of Facebook, and then they can sit back and decide, do they want to stop being tyrants? Do they want to stop crucifying the right? Do they want to stop their bogus fact-checking, or do they want to go out of business? That's going to be their choice, but we have to make them face that choice, and we don't, because we need Facebook. No, guys, they need us. YouTube needs us. These vehicles need us. It's just really that simple. We hold all the cards. Y'all don't know it. Politically, we hold all the cards over our government because the people are the government. The people give our elected officials consent to govern. We can withdraw that consent at any time. Our founders said, okay, you know what? When you get a form of government, in this case, the Democrat Party and the rhinos who support them, who seeks to take away your God-given rights in this country, seeks to turn your republic, which we're guaranteed a republic form of government in our Constitution. It doesn't say, oh, but, you could go socialist, you could go communism, you could go outright tyranny, you could go king. No. The Constitution does not allow for any of that. It says we guarantee a Republican form of government. That's where we are in charge. We have the right to air our grievances, which there's no shortage of. We have the right to alter our government. We have the right to abolish our government. My idea of abolishing is removing every single elected official out of Washington, D.C. from the president down, we have that authority. We revoke our consent for these people to govern us. These people are an enemy of the state. When you look up terrorist or terroristic activities or terrorism, the Democrat Party fits every one of those definitions in multiple ways. I know you don't want to think about that. Well, how can your fellow American be a terrorist? Oh, because they are. They count on, and I know leftists very well. I was raised by them. I used to go to their meetings to try to understand their lunacy. Well, they're crazy. And they know that we're weak, and they know that we're never organized, and they know that we are afraid of them. And so far, we have shown them nothing to disprove any of their beliefs. Nothing. Trump is a one-man army. They take him out one way or the other, because they will not let him stand for re-election in 2024. Y'all just need to start coming to grips with that. What are y'all going to do then? What is your plan? What is your strategy? You don't have any. I am so tired of going to our so-called thought leaders and they're saying, well, we got to get ready for the Great Reset. We got to get ready for digital money. We got to get, okay, all right. So you're already conceding defeat. You're already saying, whoa, there's nothing we can do about it. Bullshit. There's everything we can, we should, and we must do about it. As long as you all have your defeatist attitude like you've always had, well, you're going to keep getting your asses kicked and we're all going to be in big, big trouble. I don't want to prepare for the Great Reset. I don't want any of you to have to prepare for that. I want to stop the Great Reset, which we can do. If we put as much effort into discussing strategies, I'll do it for you. I'll do all your thinking for you if I need to. I have no problem with that. But I can't organize you. I don't have that kind of voice. But if we put as much energy into stopping them as we do from hiding from them and getting prepared for the onslaught that they're about to hit us with, we could stop these people in now a couple weeks. It all runs on our money. All of it. Without our money, they're toothless. They're fangless. They have no claws. They have nothing. We have that power. We don't use it. We're literally funding our own destruction. Either you're all too dense to understand it, or you really think you have no choice. We have every choice in the world. We are the most powerful people ever in any country throughout history. We have absolute authority over our government. That's unquestioned. Yet we act like that they're the boss and we got to do whatever they say. The Democrats count on y'all being that stupid. And I hate to call y'all stupid, but what are you? I mean, you can't know that we have these abilities, these authorities, and yet refuse to do anything about it. I want to address this Convention of States. 13 years you've been trying to get one. We got, 19 states signed on? We have 26 Republican states. We need 34 states to convene a convention. Do any of you think that we're going to get 8 blue states to sign on to a convention of states? We don't even have our own 26 signed up right now. Then you need 38 to ratify anything that comes out of a convention. Do you all really think that the Democrat Party is going to sit back and wait for us, who knows how many more decades, to get a convention of states convened to try to neuter them? No, of course not. They're just laughing at us and like, oh, look at those idiots. They're spending a lot of time, energy, and resources talking about something that's never going to happen because it won't happen. What we need to do is the here and now, things that I have suggested and other things. Let's talk about election integrity. 2020 and 2022 elections were held in violation of federal law. Federal election law does not allow for early in-person voting or mail-in voting. Period. Look it up. I did. See, I researched that those elections were held illegally. Now we have 26 states, 26 states that we have Republican governors, and probably mostly all of them with Republican Secretary of States. Now I've put out a invitation to our Secretary of State, J. Ashcroft. Met him a few times, like the guy. Not perfect, none of us are, but here's what I want to suggest. And any of you with any contacts out there, our states must reaffirm publicly that we will follow the federal election laws. We will not allow early in-person voting, and we will not allow mail-in voting. Then we must address those several states that allow both of those things. So any state that violates these federal election laws, our states, our combined states, reserve the right to sue them federally for violation of those federal election laws. And in doing so, violating those laws are disenfranchising our own voters in our state, because those states are allowing illegal votes to be cast. They are using mail-in ballots, sending dozens, in a lot of cases, to an address that doesn't even exist. It's a vacant lot. It goes back to their DNC precinct, and those workers then fill those out for the Democrats. This is how this works. So, yes, they must follow federal election law. We'll sue the hell out of them for disenfranchising our voters. Because for every vote that they steal in those states, it affects all of us, because we're all in that same giant voting pool when we're voting for federal elections. This is what's called fighting back. This is what's called punching them in the face. And like any bully I've ever been against, they can't take a hit. Bullies are mean until you clock them a time or two. So this is our way of clocking them a time or two. Let's reassert that we are going to follow these federal election laws, and the states that don't, we have the right to sue them in federal court for violating those laws and causing disenfranchisement of our own voters. It's called fighting back, folks. I can't do it. All I can do is put that out there, and hopefully somebody listens. Hopefully I can get Mr. Ashcroft on the air and see if we can start doing something with the other states that says, this is our line in the sand, which our side has never, ever said, here's our line in the sand. Nope. Democrats over here, we're over here, and they just keep pushing us further and further and further until they got our backs against the wall, and then we've already basically raised the white flag. Yes, how to prepare for the Great Reset. Stop the Great Reset from happening. How to get ready for digital currency. Stop it from happening in the first place. Don't let it happen. Once they digitize the currency, we're screwed. They control all of it. Right now, we have control over the money. They know it. They don't like that because they're afraid you might, A, grow a brain, and then 2, B, grow a spine and do something with it. I really don't think they need to worry about it, but, they're proactive. They keep moving on and thinking, okay, well, what if? Well, we better take that possibility off the table by doing this. Then they do it all the time. And they're after our children. They've been after them for a long time. For 40 years, they've been dumbing our students down and indoctrinating them. And this is why we're at now. A properly educated electorate would have never allowed this to ever happen. We have not been properly educated for 40 years at least. And then about 20 years ago, the media got into the act. All in for Satan and his Democrats. The media's function right now, and has been for at least 20 years, is to reinforce the indoctrination that these last 40 years of people have been put through. Reinforce it every day. Keep that hatred right there at the top. Keep that ignorance there in place. Don't let them learn anything. Don't let them see or hear the truth. And it's working flawlessly. That's just back in and watches and was like, wow, what is our side doing? Nothing. They're preparing to try to hide from the Great Reset. Find a way around digital currency. It's just not going to be one. Good luck trying to barter. That'll be shut down too. You all have no clue what it's about to be done to us if we don't stop this. Because you clearly don't think about these things. Because if you did, we wouldn't have allowed the left to go this far. Now, Donald Trump, I love the guy, but he's one person. He can't save us if we're not willing to stand up and defend our own damn selves. Just like, I'm a very spiritual person, and some of you are, and some of you are very religious, and it's great. I pray to God, and pray to God for guidance and help. But then I get off my knees, and I do my best to fight back against the evil. Because I believe firmly that's what Jesus wants us to do. There's no shortage of people out there saying they pray, and they pray that God will come back, Jesus will come back and save us. And we win in the end, which we do. So it appears that millions of my fellow Christians just pray for God to return and He'll come back and save the day. We don't know the time or hour when He comes back. We know He does, but we don't know when. And also, when He's looking down at us and He sees His people like praying but not putting any work into it, praying but hiding, praying but like, how can we protect ourselves from what they're going to do to us? How will we survive? How about praying, getting off your knees, standing up, looking Satan, i.e. the Democrats, his demons, in the eyes, and we're not going to take this anymore. We are going to start pushing you back. Legally, we don't need weapons for this. Organized, targeted fashion. Maybe God wants to see His people do this. And then He said, well, okay, you know what? My people are showing me something. They're showing that they love me more than they're afraid of Satan, which is always a good idea. Maybe that will spur this second coming that we're all waiting for. This is how I look at it. Just like, why would He be any different? I mean, why do you want to help somebody who's not helping themselves? I mean, this is how most people are. I don't mind helping people if they're going to help themselves along the way. But if I'm just the only one putting in any effort, I'm done. I'm not going to do anything to help them. Why would Jesus be different? I can't think of a reason why. So, just in case I'm right about this, maybe y'all need to do more than pray. Stand up, fight, unite against the evil that exists. And the Democrat Party is Satan in our country at work. Try to disagree with it. But again, anybody who champions murdering unborn babies and now born babies, any group that promotes butchering our children, shooting them up with puberty blockers and the like, they're not our friends. They are Satan. They are doing Satan's work. So if you try to defend what they're doing, you're on the wrong side. Go sit in their camp. We'll know where they're at. Everybody has to pick a side. And you independents out there, I know you brag about, I'm independent, I'm smarter than everybody else because I can go either way. No, you can't. People who are independent is like lukewarm in the Bible. Nobody likes lukewarm. You pick a side. You'll be respected by God and by others when you pick a side. When you're sitting on a fence being lukewarm, that's not being smart. That's not being, I'm smarter than the rest of you. I'm powerful because I'm an independent. No. This is clearly a spiritual war in our country. It's time to pick a side is now. You fence setters, tell you what, let's use this for an analogy. As the left continues its march against us, against our God given rights in this country, and they know what you independents are, they're like, they can go either way. What if they decide they want to join in with our opponents? They'll never let you do that. They'll stop you in any way they possibly can to keep you from siding with us. Don't think for 1 second the demons won't come after you if they think you're going to betray them. They will. They always do. So it's just better for you to pick a side. Really is. Pick a side. You can go to the left, where the Democrats and Satan live, or you can go to the right, where us Christians are, even though us Christians need to seriously up our game. So this is what I wanted to talk about today. I'm passionate in my beliefs. I'm passionate about this country. I'm passionate about the people in it. I have ideas to bring to the table and solutions to these problems because I'm a fighter. I've always been a fighter. I grew up in a very abusive home. I have seen a lot of evil in my lifetime. More than what most people, let's just put it this way, I could write a book about it. I've seen an awful lot of pure evil in this world. And I do not want that for the rest of us. And trust me, when I tell you, you do not want to be under the command and control of these demonic forces. You don't want to be there. You don't want your children, your grandchildren there. We have the power and authority to stop this. I've given you some ideas. I can't make it happen. All I can do is put out some ideas for you guys. Every one of you say, oh, John, none of that would work. Sit down and shut up. Stay out of it. Because everything I said would work. All of it. I don't think about things for 2 seconds and go forward with it. I've been studying this stuff for over 4 years, watching it happen and warning about it. Warning our politicians, warning our people. They're taking over the schools, they're taking over media, they're taking over government. Oh no, John, they're not doing that. I mean, people will figure it out. No. So, anyway, pray for yourselves and your country. Then get off your damn feet. Stop trembling like cowards in the night. And we have a common enemy. And that's called the Democrat Party. Have a good day.